بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد. So, Abu al-Futuh al-Razi wrote his book, his tafsir in Farsi. And the title of his book, look at your paper and tell me and read it for me. روح الجنان وروح الجنان. Ali, Dr. Ali, روح الجنان means the fragrance of heaven. وروح الجنان means the spirit of the heart. And we said that this man, originally from Arabia, but his grandfather moved to Naysabur and then down to Ray. So he was born in Ray. This is why his book is very worthy, very deep, and contains a lot of knowledge. And we said something. We said Al-Fakhr al-Razi, who is considered Shaykh al-Mufassirin, Al-Fakhr al-Razi, Shaykh al-Mufassirin, took this book as what for his tafsir? Template, basis for his tafsir. His tafsir's name is Mafatih al-Ghayb. Very great tafsir, huh? Great tafsir. Mafatih al-Ghayb, the keys to the unseen. Okay. Now, some of the things that worthy to mention here is that Abu al-Futuh, Shaykh Abu al-Futuh, has a theory. And his theory is taken from the Quran. And the theory states that if someone obtains a genuine faith, Iman Khalis, genuine, not counterfeit, genuine faith, then he would remain faithful with faith until the time of death. He is not going to deviate. But then we have examples that many people accepted Islam and they prayed behind the Prophet and the Imams, Sahaba, Tabi'een, good people, and then they deviated. They died non-Muslims. They committed crimes, murder, genocide, rape, others. So how do you explain that?
They never had true faith?
Huh?
So they never had true faith?
They never had true faith, according to him. He says this reveals that their faith from the beginning was not real. And then he brings this verse. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ in Surah Al-Baqarah. This is 2:34. Once we said to the angels, prostrate before Adam. فَسَجَدُوا, all of them prostrated, إِلَّا Iblis, except Iblis. Aba, he refused. وَاسْتَكْبَرْ, he became arrogant. وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. So he uses this, وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. He was one of the disbelievers from the beginning. Though he was worshipping God, Iblis was with the angels. Iblis was not an angel, was Ifrit. We have jinn, we have malaika, we have Ifrit, we have insan, or ins, they call them ins. Who are the jinn? Huh?
No, people of
Jinn, jinn,
Oh, smoke.
smoke or a spirit, or a spirit. Well, you don't see them. They exist. They exist. You don't see them. This is jinn. Who are angels? Who are angels? Angels. Different than jinns. Do we have bad angels? Do we have bad jinn? Yes. Do we have good jinn? Yes. Versus ins, we see each other. Ins and jinn. Jinn invisible, ins visible. Insan, ins, insan. Then we have another category, which is what? Ifrit, a special type of jinn. قال عفريت من الجن. So they are jinn, but they are a special type. Custom made. Custom made, like the Ferrari and the Lamborghini among the vehicles. Special vehicles. Special edition. Ahsant. Special edition. Huh? Because they do extraordinary. They do things that the normal jinn cannot do. The one in his story in Surah Sulaiman, with Sulaiman, he said to Sulaiman, I'm going to bring the throne of Balqis, who's in Palestine, who's in Yemen, all the way to Palestine. He's jinn, but he's a special edition. He has extraordinary power. قال عفريت من الجن. So Iblis, he's Ifrit. He is from jinn, but he was mingling with the Malaika. Why he was mingling with the Malaika? Why? Exactly because he used to worship. Then the day of test came. They said he did sujood, one sajda, which lasted 200,000 years. One sajda. The day of test came. God said to them, and he was among them, Yalla, prostrate before Adam. I just created him. They all prostrated. Iblis said, I am not going. Abu al-Futuh al-Razi, he says, his worshipping was not real. Because God says, وَكَانَ مِنَ right from the beginning he was kafir. So all these worshippings that he did was bogus, was show off. Riya is not real.
Sorry, I know it's off subject, but jinn is made out of fire, right? Or
Yes, fire, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because he said, you made me of fire and you made him of a clay, and I am خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين, and I am better than. Yes, Nadim.
The word kafirin,
Yeah.
wouldn't it apply for those who reject God or
Reject.
reject God? Right?
Reject. Because he says, if he was a believer, God should have said here, وَكَانَ مِنَ الْفَاسِقِينَ. See, very, very good point. Why? Because he disobeyed. Disobeyed the directive of God. God should not say about him, وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. Because if someone is a Muslim, but let's say, God forbid, he drinks alcohol. He's not kafir. He's fasiq. He broke the law. But he didn't cut his ties with God. He still believed in God, but he broke. So he said, because God did not say وَكَانَ مِنَ الْفَاسِقِينَ. God says وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ because from day one, don't look at his worshipping. He wasn't a worshipper. This was show off. Do you follow this?
And the jinn have free will too? The jinn have free will?
Yeah. Read Surah Al-Jinn. وَإِنَّ مِنَّا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. They came to the Prophet, they believed. Some of them are good ones, some of them are evil. Just like humans. They have a free will. They have a free will. And there are some people who claim that they communicate with them. I don't know about that. Maybe they have the power, maybe they don't. I don't know. Yeah.
So,
Yes,
sorry.
yes, yes.
So you're saying that the afreet of the jinn is the shaitan, they're bad?
No. Not every Ifrit is bad. Ifrit means he's a special edition. So he could be good, he could be bad. He could be good. The one was with Sulaiman was a good person. Though we call our kids nowadays Ifrit means he's hyper or, but that does not mean that every Ifrit is bad. Some Afarit are good, some Afarit are bad.
he was caught in a war between the jinn and the jinn and the malaika or something, and then they took him.
In a war, there was a war between them?
That's what I heard one
The
story.
Christian.
The Christians say that?
They have
I heard Muslims
they have
actually.
war
Yeah, that's,
between the Malaika.
Wow.
I thought Ifrit means male jinn.
It could be also male.
they say that.
He has superpower,
Male versus female.
superpower, and
In Farsi, use the female jinn quite a bit every day.
maybe he's also male.
Sorry, sir. It was just right, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. So he says the iman of the shaitan was iman zahiri, not real. Hajj Nadim. Abu al-Futuh says the iman of the Satan, the sajda that he did, the prayers he did, was imanun zahiri, superficial, artificial, not genuine. Not genuine iman.
Is Abu al-Futuh Shia?
Yes. Abu al-Futuh is Shi'i Ithna Ashari. 50 years after him, he wrote his book. He died 606. He says he's Shafi'i from Razi, from Ray, same Ray. He took his tafsir from him and from Tabari and others. We will come to him soon. We will come to him. Yeah.
So they probably knew each other.
They knew each other, of course. Of course they knew each other. They were in the same city, born in the same city. But this one died in Herat, in Afghanistan.
So Sayyid, can I ask you a question? So
Yes, Habibi.
with, Sheikh Abu Fatwa, so he used this dalil, he kind of did the shahada and he said,
Yeah.
okay, then if someone is so he said that if somebody's a believer,
Mhm.
then they'll never go astray until
Yeah.
the end of time.
If he's a real believer.
Right. So did he just use, because this is saying the opposite. This is saying if your belief is superficial, then you're going to end up going to a bad path.
It means there is no belief. If it is superficial, then you are not iman. You don't have iman. So he was kafir from day one.
Day one, yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to connect the dots is how did he use this dalil for his evidence, but I still don't understand where Sheikh Abu Fatwa, he's using the opposite of it? He's using the opposite logic to justify his...
Yes. He's saying that if someone embraces true faith, then this true faith is going to stay with him right to the end. He's not going to be kafir, neither is going to be munafiq. If he has a true faith. If the true faith enters his heart, then it's not going to get out. Till the end of his life. Till the end of his life. So he dies genuine mu'min. Then the question is, why do we see many people in the beginning, they were good believers, but then they diverted, they changed? He says, no, they were not good they pretended to be good, but they were not good. Their iman was zahiri, not haqiqi.
And he's basing his evidence from the imams.
From the imams and from the Quran, because he's mufassir. And there are hadiths that if once the true faith penetrates the heart, the qalb, the soul of a abd, then he's going to be immune till the end. And this idea was taken also by Fakhr al-Razi. He follows him on this. When he comes to the same concept, he takes it verbatim from Abu al-Futuh. That if the iman, true iman, enters the heart, you are safe till the rest of your life. And God gives you the credit from day one. And this credit is not going to be erased. It's not going to be erased. Because he has a theory. He says if you get the real faith is going to be followed by permanent credit. Permanent credit. What he means by permanent, da'imi, he means it's not going to be erased. So they say then after that, if he commits a murder, he says, if he commits a murder, okay, then he did not even receive this permanent credit in the beginning. He didn't receive it because his faith was not genuine. Otherwise, nothing is going to erase the permanent credit once you get it. Nothing is going to erase it. So if something bad happens down the road, it means that you didn't even have that credit. In your book, you didn't have that credit. He says two things. Either you receive permanent credit or permanent what? Damnation. And these two do not get along. It cannot be in one file. Both cannot be in one file. Either this or either that.
Is he Ash'ari?
He's not Ash'ari, but he sounds Ash'ari. Because here then we come and ask about what is then free choice? God doesn't give me a chance. Imagine I am bad. I'm bad. I didn't do the right choice in the beginning. But after 10 years, 20 years, someone came to me, prophet, book, friend, situation, changed me.
Razi was Ash'ari.
Yeah, but also this idea, doctor is saying, is he Ash'ari? This idea sounds Ash'arite idea. This is why he liked it, Fakhr al-Razi, he liked it because it was, appealing to him. But he says, no, listen. The person, God gives him free choice. He gives him a free choice. It would not hurt the issue of free choice, okay? He does not, he has the free choice, but he doesn't accept it. He wants to be bad. Not that God does not want him to be good. He doesn't want to be good. So it would not hurt the idea of free choice. It wouldn't. This is why in the beginning of the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, maybe verse, very, very beginning, إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون. O Prophet Muhammad, those who disbelieve, whether you go to them, appeal to them, talk to them, advise them, do inzar to them, warning, invite them, or you don't, you leave them alone, they are not going to believe. ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة. There is a seal. Not that they had no choice, they have choice, but they decided. And God, through His eternal knowledge down the road, is telling the Prophet about the future, because God sees the end of our journey. We don't see the end. We don't see after half an hour, we don't see what will happen. But God sees. God sees what will happen to me until my last day, what will happen to you too. So He knows. So He's telling the Prophet that this guy, this group, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, they're going to remain mu'anid, obstinate, rejectors. So even if you go to them, even if you advise them, they are not going to listen. Because that's it. They decided forever not to listen. ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم. If you ask me, I'm not a prophet, but if you ask me about certain people in the society today, would they have good ending, aqibatul khair? I say no. This guy would never have. I'm not a prophet, I don't know anything about the future, but from what he does, right from 70 years ago until now, he's not going to last minute call, he's not going to heed last minute call. Because even when we read in the history, some people who last minute they became good, like Hur. But in the beginning he was also good, huh? But he was military, working for the state, they recruited him, but he was good. He wasn't an evil person. His previous goodness led into his final goodness. Okay? It doesn't come from vacuum. Dr. Misbah that we see here, Dr. Misbah from his childhood he was good. Then Allah said, because 70 years you were good, I'm going to grant you the final goodness too, which is the wilayah of Ahlul Bayt. Not that he was wicked, he was hurting, he was, doing fasad, and then all of a sudden, oh God, guide me. God says, yeah, I will guide. No, you have a history. You have a history. So people, the chances come to them, the free. They keep rejecting it. So this is what he says. وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. It means from day one, he was not genuine. All this was maskhara. This was not real. This was not real. Okay, now, of course, he has many other things in his book. He speaks about Imam al-Mahdi. He brings the verses that speaks about Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam in his book. Okay, one of the most powerful verses about Imam al-Mahdi, he says, يؤمنون بالغيب. The first thing in Surah Al-Baqarah, ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. Who are the muttaqin, the pious? الذين, those who they have firm belief in ghaib. One of these articles of ghaib and seen, which is difficult to understand and difficult to believe in, is Imam al-Mahdi. Can he really live for 1300 years? Is he really born? Is he really on this earth? Let alone whether I can see him or not. But does he really exist? These thoughts come to your mind. Allah says this is ghaib. Don't you sometimes suspect about God? We the people. We who worship God sometimes. Really there is God? This Quran is genuine? He can hear, he can listen. Really? It goes through your mind, through the mind of many people.
Isn't Nabi Khidr still living? I mean, is that something?
Yes, they say he's still living on earth. On earth, yes. Nabi Khidr still living on earth. Jesus still living in heaven. And Imam al-Mahdi is another example. Yes, he's there. God can make. If you believe in God, number one, if you believe in God, 99% of the problem is solved. Because God is almighty. Almighty, it means he does something unconventional. Unconventional. How did Musa survive? If you speak to scientists today about cutting the sea into two pieces and opening a path, nobody is going to believe in you. Nobody. They're going to make fun of you. It happened. It happened. Many other miracles. Can you resurrect someone who's dead? Today, can science resurrect him? They cannot. But Jesus did on many occasions. So once you believe in this is why monotheism is the basis. If your monotheism is shaky, the rest is going to be shaky. If your faith in God is strong, then you believe this book is from him. Yes, he sees, he hears, he guides, he saves. When you call upon him, he answers if that is good for you. Put your faith in him. Put your trust in him. It's about faith. It's about faith. Certain things we cannot really explain them further. You have to believe. Or you don't believe. It's up to you. You don't believe. But of course, when it comes to Imam al-Mahdi, we should not commercialize this. Because some people taking advantage of this. Some people claim that they see him, they contact him. This is not right. This is not. Imam al-Mahdi is there, but not anyone who comes to you and he always speaks, Imam al-Mahdi, Imam al-Zaman, Imam al-Munta, Imam al-Zaman. It means he got his franchise, like McDonald's. It's not. It's not like that. Because some people claim they take advantage of the naive in the society. They claim that they meet the Imam all the time. They get answers from him. They get direction from him. They get calls from him. They see him. They dine with him. This is not right. This is cheapening the idea of Mahdi. Mahdi is a universal figure. Yes, he does. He interferes. He might visit the poorest of the poor. The poorest of the poor. He might visit. He might help. And he's not just for the earth. The Imam, Hujjatullah, is for the universe. Universe, to hold the universe. God has representatives. He says this. We don't make this up. قَالَ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. One day God said to the angels, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ Surah Al-Baqarah. This is the beginning of the Quran. Beginning of Islam is this. Surah Al-Baqarah gives you the foundations of Islam. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. He says, I need to put a Khalifa. Who's the Khalifa? Me and you? We represent God? We don't represent. Yes, generic is insan, but specific. Specific is the Imam, universal Imam. Universal Imam. He's the Khalifa. Khalifa means God entrusted him with our life, with our affairs. Because this universe is based on this. On cause and what? Effect. Remember, always. Always, always. Cause and effect. God is the one who gives you life, but through what? Through marriage. Husband has to marry the wife. They need to sleep together to make a baby. God would not bring you the baby from somewhere else. Yeah, it happened once, twice with Isa, no father. With Adam, no father, no mother. But it doesn't happen regularly. Who causes death? God. But God says, I have agents. Malakul Maut. قُلْ يَتَوَفَّاكُمْ مَلَكُ الْمَوْتِ. I send angel. I don't come down to take your soul. I send angel of death. God is the healer. And the healing is two types. Spiritual and physical. Spiritual, وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِ. Spiritual healing is in the Quran. Read the Quran, enjoy the Quran, you're going to get peace. You're going to get tranquility. If you are disturbed, if you are afraid, if you are depressed, read the Quran. It's a healing for you. Strengthens your heart. نثبت به فؤادك. نثبت به فؤادك. Okay? The prayers. استعينوا. God says استعينوا. Use when you are down, when you are broken, when you are afraid, when you are alone. استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة. صبر and salat. استعينوا بالصبر. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا. This is spiritual healing. Physical healing, God says, the doctor, you have to go to the doctor. The medicine, sometimes God says, the honey, فيه شفاء للناس. In this honey, the original honey, the genuine, not the one that, genuine honey, original, there are healing for many sicknesses. He is the healer, but he says, I have agents. Agents, God has agents. God speaks about his agents, وَالْمُدَبِّرَاتِ أَمْرًا. وَالْمُدَبِّرَات. Who are مُدَبِّرات? ملائكة. Tadbir is what? Tadbir is management. So God has managers. Yes, he is the engineer, but he has managers. It's like the CEO who has assistants. God has assistants. He says, I have assistants. For everything he has assistant. Knowledge, who gives the knowledge? God, knowledge, al-ilmu nurun yaqdhifuh. But then you have to go to your teacher. You don't sleep in the night and God infuses you with knowledge. He sends the chip and then he doesn't. He says, go to school, I will give it to you. It has means. Rizq, who provides provision? God. But then you have to work. Means. So, yes, Dr. Ali.
I have a question, probably off kind of tangent, but is Mahdi, does he operate outside of time and space?
Yes, he does. He does. Because Al-Imam al-Mahdi, since God made him Hujjatullah in the universe, his jurisdiction is not something called the planet Earth. God sent universal leaders. One of them is Ibrahim, was universal leader. Nuh was Hujjatullah. Musa, Isa, Muhammad, and after Muhammad, our Imams until Imam al-Mahdi. Those are not local, not regional, universal. So he has to be outside the boundaries of time. If Mustafa al-Qazwini, he travels back and forth between East Coast and West Coast. One day he's West Coast, one day he's... And he's a small, he's nothing. He's a...
So you got to give yourself more credit.
Imam al-Mahdi has to be everywhere, of course. He cannot, living here and not knowing what is happening, not only on earth, everywhere in this universe.
What about, so in time as
can go through time, absolutely. He's God's agent. God's agent means God gave him free access, absolute access, with his permission. With his permission, always. بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. Always with his permission. So some people, they have doubt, really, why do we need Imam? You don't need him just to give you the answer of the mas'ala. No, for the stability. Believe me, my friends. I am, you've known me for so many years. I don't believe in superstitions. Neither I mention dreams to you in the class or. But I am sure, certain, that Imam al-Mahdi is keeping certain societies and certain countries safe. Otherwise, if he's not there, they will collapse. They will collapse. Because of the tawassul people do. Tawassul. Otherwise, if it is left to its own self, crumble in one day. Certain families, certain individuals, certain communities, certain armies, he's keeping them. Tawassul. And he can come to your rescue. He can come. People after, not during their lifetime, after they died, they said about them that, Imam, we used to come to this person, this house, this city, not only religious cities. He could be in Alaska, because the earth is free for him. He can navigate anywhere. He can go anywhere. So it's not in specific areas. He can go to people, maybe they have half faith, not full faith, but at that time they call upon him, time of emergency. They have faith in him. He goes. He goes. Okay. So this is a bit of what he said. And then he has many other things in his book. His book is very interesting, but tomorrow, inshallah, not tomorrow, next class, we're going to speak about this one. We spent maybe 2 sessions on this because this is very important. Mafatihul Ghaib. And this is Shaykh al-Mufassirin in the Sunni tradition. But I'm going to show you how many people on both aisles, Sunnis and Shias, believe that this was Shi'i. Forget about what he says about himself. Look at his writings and judge him by what he does, not only in this tafsir, because he has written many books. Because he brings the arguments, at the end, he says, judge for yourself, who is better. Not just in the fiqh and aqa'id, aqidah, and the imama, also the imama. The imama. This is why some people say he's Shi'i. I don't care what he said because there was a pressure on him. His life was threatened. He was during the reign of a sultan that put a pressure on him. And he could not disclose his real aqidah. We will come to these places, inshallah. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.